Okay, welcome to another Kendo tip stream. My name is Jose, I'm a young in Kendo, and today we're going to do some Mitorigeiko, and I wanted to focus today on kote. So I got a few videos that I want to analyze and share with you. So together we can, look what's effective, what's not really effective, or how can we make our technique a little bit more effective. So I guess it's gonna be a little bit of a technique breakdown. So let me get myself situated here. Okay, let me pop out the chat. So if you're here, please let me know you're here so I can not only say hello, but just kind of know who's here, and I can reply and call people by name, right? Because if you're here, I would like to say hello personally to you. So, anyways, I hope you guys had a good weekend, a good week, and I guess weekend too. We're coming up to Monday, but we still have some weekend left, and hopefully this will be an interesting talk. So, last week, I guess I focused a little bit on the Banamen. So today I just wanted to just break it down to just kote, right? Kind of like I feel like maybe I'm going to do every week, like focus on one just for the time being, like analyze one technique specifically. Hello Theo, and hello Steven. Thank you for passing by. Thank you for saying hello. So yeah, today we're going to try to break down kote, try to find out what makes it effective. So what I did is that I found a Kendo compilation, Ippon compilation for kote, for Miyazaki, and for Uchimura. And I also got Nishimura, just kind of to get one that's a little bit more recent, right? With Nishimura though, like I couldn't find just a kote compilation. It was a little bit of an Ippon compilation. So I guess we can analyze a little bit of other techniques while we watch that, but a lot of them are kote, so I think that's gonna work out pretty good. Let me just raise this up a little bit. It's a little bit more. It's probably good, yeah. So, just kind of want to give a little bit of time for more people to come in, but let me know how your week was. Any Kendo training that you have done this week, or anything interesting that you've seen in the Kendo world lately, please share with me. I'm always eager to know new things and how's everybody doing, how you adapting to this whole situation. If any dojos are back to practice, that's also good for me to know. And yeah, so I guess I have my small shinai here, but I think I'll probably use my regular size shinai just because, to demonstrate, I guess, the kote. I think that would be more interesting to do it that way. Let me put my screen over here. Okay. Is there any specific person that you can think of that you think has great kote? Let me know in the comments. I think that would be interesting. We can probably even go look up for some videos from them and just see some specific details of why that kote is a good kote. So if you have someone in mind that you think has a great kote, besides obviously some of the videos that I got, Uchimura, Miyazaki, and Nishimura, I don't necessarily went specifically for their kotes, but I think they're known for good kotes, so that's why I kind of wanted to share those. That's why I specifically look for those people. But if you have any suggestions, any people that you think has a great kote, please share in the comment. That'll be awesome for me to know. Let me see. I think I can just probably go by and find out some of the videos real quick. So let me switch up screens real quick. Give me 1 second so while I load up the video here. I think we have enough time. I think the people that wanted to come in probably already here. So let me just look up for that video. Let me see which one is the first one that I got. Okay. See if it's this one. Okay, I think it's this one. So again, I have a little bit of an issue when it comes to listening to what's going on. You guys are gonna have the audio. I'm not gonna have the audio because if I do, I think it's gonna feedback. Which, by the way, please let me know. I was having problem. I was checking out last week's stream, and I noticed that I had there was a little bit of delay between my audio and the video. So please tell me how is it right now? Is it synchronized? Is it good? Like is there a delay? Please let me know. That'll be good for me to know, I guess, for a better experience for you. So I played with the settings yesterday to kind of fix that problem. But if you think that there's a little bit of like delay between the sound and the video, please let me know and tell me which one you're hearing or seeing first. Um, Hey John, nice to see you here. Thank you for passing by and saying hello. If you just got here, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to focus on kote. So I picked up three videos, three ippon compilations from three different kenshis. We're gonna kind of analyze a little bit, kind of what we did last week with the Debana men. Kind of figure out what works, what makes a good kote, and maybe some approaches for the seme, the distance, and all that stuff. I think that'll be interesting. That'll be fun. So I think this one, if I'm not mistaken, this one is Uchimura. I need to look at the video. No, I think this one's the one with Ishimura. He has different waza. So let me switch up. Let me switch up the video real quick. I kind of wanted to start with with Uchimura. Okay, I think this is Uchimura, right? So this is a kote compilation, and I think Uchimura it's very good at that like angle kote. I think he's very good at changing that angle at a moment's notice, right? So he comes in for the distance. He came in close there, and this is something that I kind of like. I think this is a very complicated kote for being the first one. It's not really straightforward, simple, right? Because the distance with the hands, it's close to the body, right? He's adapting to the distance where he's at. Look at that. He's kind of keeping the hands a little bit closer because he's already kind of too forward, right? Too close to the opponent. So I think if he stretches the hands, he's gonna be completely out of distance. He's gonna go too deep. So that ability to kind of gauge at that moment, that's kind of like, so when hitting the kote, right? Like you want to always hit with this part of the shinai, right, towards the kote of the opponent. So because of how close he was actually he had to bring the shinai closer. And I'm gonna play one more time because one thing that I really like that was very interesting is how he uses his left hand to make such good impact. I mean, I can't hear it, but I can tell you that it looked like it had good impact. So I'm probably gonna say that he had definitely good sound. So you guys gotta let me know. And okay, Kendo once back. Hold on. What was your name? Hold on. I forgot. I'm so sorry. Can you please remind me your name? Please, I'm so sorry. I know you're friends with John and you're from Germany as well, but I don't want to say let's see. Yeah, please remind me of your name. Let's watch that kote one more time. Okay, why is it not playing? So okay, right here. So right here, look how like I guess he comes in with the distance. He's trying to get the person thinking, okay, I'm going to go for the man, for the Yoko man, right? Maybe he kind of changes the mind. He starts switching for the kote. I really couldn't tell you what did he see in order to change from that position for that kote. I don't know if he was kind of like, it was like premeditated drill that he does to like get him to like have that spontaneous change. But I think it's very versatile, right? Like, and it really works. So he kind of comes in with a little bit of a feint, or maybe like trying to threaten the man. The person kind of like goes back and then decides to go for man, right? And you see that uses the left hand, kind of like he kind of like makes like a little bit of a lever action there, and gets an amazing impact. And not to mention this, the follow through, right? He comes in, actually, as you can see the follow through better on the regular speed because they leave a little bit of extra time. And right, like he gets out of the way and immediately turns around and it's mindful of the opponent. But I think it's a complicated kote. I don't know what you guys think. This is not necessarily the easiest and more straightforward kote. I don't know. Nice to see you here. Thank you for passing by, saying hello. Saludos. Si tienes algún problema que esté hablando inglés, avísame. Así que yo traduzco mientras voy hablando. Pero si puedo hablar en inglés, sería mejor. Déjame saber. Okay. This is against Jordan, so obviously the approach is a little bit different, right? He has to be pressing forward. He has to be always turning the distance. Now, I guess he got him to open up for that, for the right kote. That's nice. I don't know if it's gonna have a slow motion. Yeah, it didn't have a slow motion, but let's break it down a little bit. I always find that that fighting against Jordan, most people kind of get tripped on the communication, on like the seme, how to do seme and how to communicate, because there's not really the touching of the swords, right? So coming in here, let's try to figure out what he is he seeing in order to make that approach. So again, like he right there, I think he's anchored, as we were talking last week, like he has a good anchoring on his feet. When he moves forward, look at that little step and anchoring himself again. I think that's essential to be ready. Well, we saw that last week. It's essential to be ready to explode, right? Again, he's moving forward, but bringing the left foot like so quick. Look, he's gonna take 2 steps, and he immediately brings the left foot forward on each step he takes, sharply. Let's see one more time. What did he see? So as he comes in forward, the stepping. Now, this is a very hard angle, I think, right? So you have to be really good at changing your angle, because he got him to come down in a very like slow manner, right? Like he's kind of like coming down, kind of like analyzing where should I go. Maybe he's coming this way. So he's kind of like with hesitation on the way he's coming down. And I think Uchimura kind of like took advantage of that quickly. I think that's what he saw in order to execute that kote, because he was coming down kind of like, it wasn't a sharp or anything. It was like kind of like, and he stood there for a little bit too long. Maybe he took that kote. John, you done Jordan, so you probably have experience with that as a receiver, right? So what that would be interesting to know a little bit of what do you think? Like, you think that Uchimura went in because he kind of hesitated and stayed there for a little bit too long, or you think it was something that like, he engaged before he started bringing the hands down? That'll be very interesting. It's so crazy how short Uchimura is, right? Compared to like most people in Japan. Now, this is another kote that I think has to do a lot with like short distance. Look, the hands are in, but the angle is just crazy. He's able to get that kote in a very insane. Hold on, let's put it regular speed, because I think we have a little bit of a better view. It's so quick and sharp. It's so quick and sharp, strong. Okay, this one is very interesting, because it's more like like sashi, right? Like he's kind of more like stabbing into it, and it's very impressive that he got this as an ippon, because you need to have a lot of good tenouchi, I think, right, in order to get the ippon. Because like, look at the angle of the sword, and look how compact, like how little he moved the tip to go up and down. It was like you see, like it was very minimal amount of like lift above the kote. So getting that kote, also the kote was on the way up, right? So it makes it a little bit less, force, I guess, to come down for that kote. So I think you have to have really good tenuchi in order to get that ippon, because I think that one. I think a lot of judges that are not at this level will miss that ippon 100%. Like they'll probably see it as a tag, but um, maybe they won't consider it an ippon, right? Obviously, I can't hear it, so I couldn't tell you specifically, about it. So, but please tell me, what do you think? Like, did he have good impact, good sound? Let me see one more time. Because I mean, it's so sharp. It's so sharp. Um, okay, another Jordan fight. He's been very dynamic here, more than he was in the one before, but nice kote. Oh. Okay, let's watch that one. I don't know if that one has slow motion, so I kind of just want to watch it one more time. Okay. I hope it has a slow motion. Let me see. Okay, yes, it does. So he does a little bit of kind of like play around the sword, catching catching the opening by going around and kind of throwing the man a little bit, right? So I feel that maybe the red kind of felt afraid for the man, and he got that kote by making the opponent go up. Let me see something. So I think that let me get the other channel. Hold on. I think that one of the things that makes that technique so powerful, because you see it happening a lot. Either the person kind of goes around the shinai, or they kind of put pressure of the shinai and then kind of threaten the man, like, and then go for the kote. It's because of that. Like it does. I think it does look a lot like if they don't do that, they could get hit by the man. We're gonna watch it one more time, because one of the things that I think it's very important to make this successful is kind of closing the distance, because a lot of people have the tendency, I think, a lot of people have the tendency to hit kote from like very far away, right? Like hitting the kote from a very far distance, like coming in maybe a little bit and then hit. But if you notice, especially because of his height, I think, he's coming up very close, and he doesn't have to extend so much for the kote. He's actually getting a lot of the kotes very close by, just because he's coming so close. So I think he closed the distance for the man, making the opponent think that he's definitely going for the man. Doing the seme, going around, and then after he goes around, he hit that kote down. On that unexpected angle, I think. So I don't know what you think of that one. I think that's a very interesting approach to kote. But I think that for that to be successful, you have to be very confident with your distance, and you cannot, to say it this way, jump the gun when it comes to either the fake or the attack. Because if you're kind of like too nervous or too quick, maybe the person won't fall for it or won't feel threatened. And then the opening for the kote or the men, it's not there. So let's see. One more time. Come on. Come on, play. Come on, play. Okay. I think it's this one, right? So let's watch the slow motion real quick. So You see, he's coming in for a distance. At this point, he's not. Oh wait, no, this is not the same one, right? I think this is after. I think it's this one. Oh, sorry. Oh no, I restarted the video. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me go. Let me try to find the same one that we're looking at. I think it's after this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. No, this is the one of Sashiman. I mean Sashikote. Okay, we watched this Jordan. So sorry, I guess when I pressed the thing, it kind of resetted the timer. It sent us back to the beginning. So I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. So let's watch the slow motion, right? Okay. So here he goes forward, and I'm going to say, and please correct me if I'm wrong, right? But watch it at regular speed, and tell me if you don't feel a little bit of a pause between. I'm gonna call it whirly woo, right? Like he goes around, there's a little whirly woo. There's a little bit of a minuscule pause, and then he goes for that kote, right? I don't know if you feel it. You see it or not? Like, am I making stuff up? Let's see. Because I feel that pause, that little bit of a pause, it's not only his time to process it, to process what is happening, but I think also that pause, it's allowing the opponent to get into a position to have that reaction to come up to the right spot to get that kote. Because I think a lot of times when we want that ippon so bad, we might just throw ourselves and just do those two things as one, right? And I think that this one, it's important to kind of break down the approach. Is first the thread, the seme, and like all this, other aspects, and then execute the waza. What do you think? Because it's, I think it's, Steven, you said that, yeah, you see that stuff for a short moment. I think that that pause is essential a lot of times, and I think that one of the aspects that we need to study a lot is when to do and not to do those pauses. A lot of times, for example, I see people with kote. Hold on, let me. I see people trying to do kote where they kind of come in, and as they're coming in, they kind of like have a little bit of a pause, then they execute the kote. And I think that's not necessarily the moment for the stop. I think the moment for the stop, it's different. In that case, I think as you go forward, you should also execute the kote. Obviously, it depends on the situation, but I feel that a lot of times people kind of either put the pause when it doesn't go, or don't put the pause where it goes. And I think this one, it's a very important spot to put that pause, because not only gives him the time to process, okay, where am I gonna go? Am I gonna go for men? I'm gonna go for kote? I'm gonna go for do? But it also gives the time for the opponent to be in the right spot for him to actually execute the kote. And John, you like the whirly woo? Yeah. I've been seeing, I didn't come up with it. A friend of mine, like back when we were like Shodan and EQ type of thing, he saw me do it and he started calling it like the whirly woo, and it kind of stuck. Yeah, it's just playful things. So whirly woo waza, I guess. Because it's also not maki, right? Would that be considered maki waza? I don't think so. That's actually a very good question. What do you guys think? Would that whirly woo be considered maki or not? You see, like even in that slow motion, he does a little bit of that whirly woo, and then pressure on top of the shinai. Then he goes for that kote. And again, I think that his awareness of distance is amazing, because look at how he stops, and like how he makes that kote from such a close distance, but hits it with the right spot. And his hands are not, he's not pulling his hands into his body. I think it's very good to study this as well, right? Where can we put the shinai? Where can we put the hands in order to get a closer distance kote, right? Because the tip, it's in a different spot that it would be if I was stretching my hands. So I think that's a very good thing to study. And John, you said no. I'm guessing that no, it wouldn't be makiwaza, right? Like it's whirly woo waza. So, trademark, I guess. Ancient whirly woo waza. Yeah, I got it when you said like no. I thought you meant like I figured you meant that it wasn't makiwaza. It's whirly woo waza, right? How would you say whirly woo in Japanese? Okay, so this one is a thing a little bit interesting in a different way because I guess would you guys consider this katsugi or is just the way that he's swinging the sword for this specific scenario, right? Uh, Let me see, because okay, in this one, I think it's a little bit different when it comes to the strike because he's hitting a little bit further, but still closer to what we normally would call like kihon kote, right? Because when we practice kihon, we don't do it like this, right? And I think a lot of the mistakes that we make is because we try to do it like this when we're doing kihon, and I think it has its own time and place to do. But okay, in this scenario specifically, would you consider this katsugi waza? I guess it kind of functions a little bit that way because he kind of wanted to protect the men. One of the things that I would like at some point, if I ever could, it's kind of like sit down with the people that is doing this wazas and ask them like, what do you see that got you um, to let your body execute that waza. Sometimes I don't think we will say we will see something and say I'm going to do that waza, but I think it's like through training when you're like mushing like nothing in your mind, it would allow your body to act on. But I think there has to be some type of stimulus that you have to get in order for your body to say, I'm going to do this waza and be successful at it. And John, you said not yet katsugi. You think? Okay, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna also look up katsugi and maki just for reference for everybody, so we can educate ourselves too. For everybody that doesn't know what katsugi and maki waza is, I'll put that in the screen in a second. But what was I saying before? I was saying the whole thing with the kote, right? When we're practicing kihon, I think a lot of times I see people trying to simulate this type of kote, where I think that those kote are situational. And I was saying that I would like to ask the person doing this type of waza and kind of what the stimulus was, because I think it will be very interesting kind of to to figuring out how different seme can cause different reactions and what reaction what approach should you take for each reaction. I don't know, I think that will be very interesting. But very quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here and window capture. Hold on, let me do something real quick. Okay, I have a Chrome tab right here, and what I will do is I will do Kendo Dictionary, and we're gonna go into our trusty Kendo Dictionary, and I guess you guys cannot see it because I didn't activate it. There we go. Okay, so we are the Kendo Dictionary. For anybody that doesn't know, you can go Kendo Dictionary on Google and it will send you to this link from the kendousa.org, and we can look at different stuff and educate ourselves. Especially this, I think, very useful for um, like if you're about to test and you need to, like review some of the stuff. Um, so I think it will be a very interesting resource to have. Ketsugi Waza, okay, from Kamae, abruptly bring the shinai to one's left shoulder, causing one opponent to react by giving you the opportunity to attack. A strike to men or kote. So I guess, I mean, like, I think sometimes the definitions here are a little bit too broad. I think we need a little bit more, what's the word? We need a little bit more definition, a little bit more instruction here. Let's see, or for Makiwasa, a technique of breaking the command of one opponent by winding the tip of one shinai around theirs. Again, I think it's very broad, right? Because I think for Maki, you also have to add the fact that you need to actually have contact with the shinai, right? I think that's why that doesn't make the whirly woo really Makiwasa, because you need to disrupt the kamae, not by just twirling the shinai around the other shinai, but taking control of the center through like that winding motion. I think again, like that's again all this opinion. You guys, please tell me if you have a different opinion. If you guys don't agree with that, but I do think that these definitions are lacking a little bit more detail. I'm really appreciative. I'm really thankful to whoever did this and put this together. It's great resources, and maybe I should do a little bit more independent research and probably help some of these definitions as well, right? Like to maybe I'll write the person, be like, hey, listen, you wanna maybe add a little bit of this, because they're great. It's a great resource. So don't get me wrong, it's definitely a great resource. Okay, we keep going with Uchimura. Let's keep going with some kote. Let's see what happens here. Oh wow. Okay, I would like to see that slow motion real quick. That's kind of weird. Slow motion real quick. Oh, and there's no slow motion on that one. That sucks. Alright, hold on. Let's see. Let's try to break it down, because there were two motions in there, right? So, look, it almost made it seem like Niran Waza, right? And it's so quick, it's so snappy, it's so great. I think again, this is something that you have to be very, very confident in your technique and your abilities at that moment, in your footwork, because you have to have a lot of things going right for you in order to get that. I think it doesn't come easy for many people to hit that kote on that angle when the person is coming in forward, because not only you have to adjust for the distance, but you also have to adjust for the angle of strike, because the kote is kind of protected in that center line a little bit, right? So going around that way, it's tricky. It's tricky. And let me see if we can observe exactly how far. Okay, so look at where he's getting the kote. He's getting the kote on an angle, right? Like on a side angle. I think. I mean, like, I think was so close. He was so close for getting the man. I think like he probably didn't come in with the confidence that he needed to come in order to have the man a little bit kind of like lower and forward, in order to get the strike. But it's crazy. So yeah, you're saying seme towards man, then kote, dega shirakote, right? Like that the last technique that we're breaking down. Yes, I think you're right. And we were talking about dega shirakote like maybe like 2 weeks ago, right? It could be a very risky technique. It could be a very risky technique, but it's definitely one of those that's unexpected. And at this point, I mean, you have to have a lot of confidence, because the person kind of tried to close the distance. Obviously, both of them are really high level kenshi. So White at this point, he knew what he had to do to kind of like defend himself a little bit towards it. But obviously, Uchimura kind of had the upper hand at that moment. He came in with that seme. He made him react instead of act, right? So that's why I think he was behind, and he got that up there. Okay. Oh, wow. I feel like the guy. Okay, in this moments, I feel that the person on white, he kind of came with like premeditated attack, right? Which I think is a lot of mistakes that we come in ourselves with. I think that most of the times we're in a competition, I either didn't make a nippon or maybe I got scored on, is because I kind of came with the mentality I'm going to do this instead of reading the situation and adapting to the situation. I was like, I'm going to do men, for example, right? Coming in to do men, and then I get caught. So here I think maybe he had that. Okay, I'm going to do that do. Um, Kind of looked like he was trying to do a little bit of like a hikido, right? Uh, and as a matter of fact, okay, a long time ago I kind of had a conversation with Kenshi, and actually even like my sensei and like different people kind of like said this to me, and I would like to get your opinion on this. Um, a lot of times when we do a wasa that's out of the ordinary, a lot of the times, or it's like there are high possibilities that, and this is a theory again, that there's high possibility that the other person might try to replicate it. It's just not it's just a mental thing, a mental observation, I guess, that some people have talked to me and said that, and I think that that's probably kind of what happened here. And I don't know if you heard that before. If you heard that, please let me know in the chat. If you have your own opinion on that, please let me know, because I find that that like I went to school for music therapy, and I have a minor in psychology, and I'm always very interested in all this mind aspect. So if you heard something about this, please let me know. Like all the psychology, all the stuff, that's very interesting to me. So here he did a yakudo, right? So here, look, that the opponent kind of tried to do a yakudo, but there wasn't like not really any sign that he should have done that, right? Um, Now the fact that Uchimura got that kote, I don't think it has to do with the fact that he was going to do yakudo or nothing. I think he was just super fast and on point. I think he played a little bit with the timing on walking forward. I'm gonna put a little bit of pause because that's another discussion about it. So if you can tell me if you have heard about this whole mental aspect about replicating a technique or whatever, please put it down in the chat. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Put it down in the chat. But timing when walking towards the opponent, I feel that that's a very dangerous situation for the people that are not necessarily very mindful during the shiai in those breaks, because look what happens. He's coming in like all chill and relaxed, and like right as he gets into kamae, he's already engaged into the seme and into the waza, right? Where like he came decisiveness. He came with certain attitude towards the opponent. He kind of looked a little bit relaxed. Now this guy right now, he has his weight on the right leg, so he's not necessarily engaged at this point. Now right here, he's kind of adjusting to go to the left foot, and then at that point, yeah, Uchimura, he already had that ippon, right? So I think that's very important to kind of have in mind, the attentiveness of coming back into kamae, and the engagement. I think Uchimura was ready for a waza before White was in, right? So he was ready, even though maybe his sword wasn't in kamae, but mentally and body wise, I think he was ready. And he was able to execute that awesome kote, because that has no other word than just awesome kote. Okay. And I don't know. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on that, because I think that's another different aspects. What I want to do, I've been planning to do, because I've been thinking about what type of videos I want to make in the channel, what type of videos you want me to make in the channel and stuff, and obviously I want to keep making videos where I'm sharing useful things about improving our kendo. and I want to break down the basics, but I want to go also beyond just like the basics part. And uh, believe it or not, I'm using our streams right now kind of a little bit as a research and sharing some of the aspects that we find either interesting or useful for everybody here. So I really appreciate your feedback and some of the stuff that you might want to share and your observations in order to to help other people get better and hopefully get more people in here kind of talking more about kendo. Get different points of view. Anyways, Uchimura. Okay, at this point, it's interesting when it comes to that seme, because the person on the left, the white, he is kind of a little bit scared. Like he's kind of too much in place. Maybe one day I'll share with you guys my Sanbon Shubu uh, experience with Uchimura. Listen, those type of strikes, seeing them in slow motion, regular speed, or whatever, are just amazing for me, right? That point. Now, one thing that I am observing on all of these attacks, it's the closing of the distance after the kote, which this is a question that I would like for you guys to please share how you do it, how your dojo does it, right? I think I even talked about it in a previous stream, but how is your sanshin? And how is not the sanshin, because again, maybe sanshin is the bad word for that, but how is your follow through for kote? Okay, we're seeing that, for example, Uchimura right now, he's doing kotes that are very close to his body, right? So I think that for that, most of the times he is coming into Subaseriai, and some other times he's actually going onto his right or the left of the opponent, right? Going out this way, but notice that immediate turn as soon as he's out of that danger, right? That's one of the things that I really think I should make a video about, because some of the things that I talked about with a lot of people that message me, and friends and so on, that when is the right time to turn. And I think that the right time to turn, it's as soon as you are out of danger of getting hit at that moment, and you have to do it as soon as possible to avoid not knowing where your opponent is. So I feel like like the big mistake that people make is that they just go and they think that just because they're gonna go fast and they're gonna go out quick, they're completely out of danger. But when they turn around, the opponent is like right on their faces, and I think that's something that a lot of people kind of like maybe misunderstand. I'm gonna say a lot of people maybe like lower level kenshi, right? And that's something that I think, because we know we have to say, you want to go out quick and you want to go out fast and just follow through. But when is the right time to turn? I think finding out that spot for everybody, also knowing your opponent, I think that's very important. So no, I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Okay. I hope there's a different angle. Oh, there's not a different angle on this one. Let's just watch this one, because I think this one, it's one of the farthest one that he does. But look at how close he is at the moment where he engaged for the kote. There's an interesting one. Oh, wait, why are we not getting slow motions on these ones? Uh, do you guys think that for Uchimura, kind of like kote comes out naturally? Like you think that's because I know he's really good with kote, right? I think he's almost like I think almost exclusively that's what he's known for, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, so, but if that's the case, why is it that that's his waza? Because I'm not saying that he cannot execute any other waza. Remember, this is a compilation of kote. Um, maybe one day I should do like a compilation of each different techniques and just to see how he executes them. But right now, right that last one where he got that kote, I think is the one after this one. He kind of was in place and like he did like a reaction and he reacted with a kote and he got the kote, which is like that, right there, right? The person came in forward. And I think that was purely a reaction, and it was a really good reaction, right? But uh, reaction nonetheless. Okay, this kote I hope it has a okay. Oh, it doesn't have a slow motion. Hold on, let's break it down because this kote is a little bit more kihon like, right? Maybe because he's coming forward. He look how he I think the pattern that we have seen today for Uchimura is that, you know, he does a little bit of pressure towards another technique, causing a reaction from the opponent, and then he goes for the kote. And he always goes in an angle to get around the shinai. Hold on, let's do it one more time. Right? That's he does a little bit of a circle around for the kote, which I think is very important when you're in a situation when you're like so close, and not even only when you're so close, right? But you want to avoid just any excessful movements. Okay, so here again, he's training the men. Now, again, look how close he is for that kote. Kote, remember, it's the target that is the closest to you when you're making an attack, right? Nonetheless, he's coming in almost to the distance where you can actually even hit do, right? And he's getting those kote. He's adapting the angle of his hands in order to do that. Whoa! I didn't really get to see that one. Oh my God! Come on! Why they're not doing slow motions? Ooh, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think of this one? I really wish. Hold on, let me see if I can like scroll it down like this. No, I can't. It doesn't let me. God. Hold on. What do you guys think of this one? I think he didn't get that kote. I think the opponent, red, kind of had a little bit trying to make it into kaeshi, right? And he missed the kaeshi, but I think Uchimura hit over the shinai. But you know, it happens. Okay, that one, you see, and then he's really good with those. Let me break down. Oh, okay, we have slow motion on that one. Oh, I don't know. Is there another angle? Like, I feel like... Like, yeah, I don't think that one specifically was a kote. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with a concept called the halo effect. And it's when like people kind of have a higher perception of you, just just because of who you are, or you know what you mean to them or whatever. And I think maybe because Uchimura, like he's so well known for those angle kote, maybe halo effect is playing a little bit of its part in here. Maybe I'm wrong. Right? Because I'm not there. I'm not at the shimpan, and I'm not at that level. So But I think that kote right there kind of like went too far in. But again, we need to appreciate his ability to kind of change the angle. Look at the play on the angle, and look how important, look how much the left hand it's involved into changing the angle. Whenever his step is this way, his left hand is the one pulling this way. It's not the right hand, which a lot of people kind of think it is, right? Like to change they try to move the sword with the right hand. No, it's the left hand. The left hand is what get him to do this so fast. That's a great Degashira kote, right? He came in with that pressure forward. Now, mind you, I'm gonna say that these are not the most beautiful kotes, right? Like these are not necessarily what you will teach someone in Kihon. And I'm going to say that in my experience, this is not what they practice at the dojo. I seen their practices and they try, like when they're doing Kihon, they're doing it correctly. Maybe when they're doing Keiko and so on, where they're doing like, Ippo and stuff like that, they will have a little bit more freedom. But I think a lot of the mistakes that we make is that we try to replicate this when working in our Kihon and not necessarily improves our Kendo. Because I think he's doing it in order to get the Ippon, right? And I think that when we're training, we shouldn't be training to get the Ippon specifically, right? We should train to do our best Kendo, and we also have specific training for this. So yeah, I don't know, my opinion. Let me know if you think differently. I hope they have a slow motion for this one, not the down. So let's break down that one just because it's. And again, this one it's a show of his good tenouchi, right? Because again, I think that this one was a very very short, little swing, for lack of a better word. But now I'm gonna focus on the left foot. Look at the engagement of the left foot. His anchor in there. He's definitely above the kote, right? To get that kote. And this is something that I noticed that I kind of wanted to bring up in today's stream, because it's something that I'm studying for myself now, and I'm going to just bring it up. So if you notice on that one, and you're probably going to see more in the few next ones coming up, sometimes when they're coming and doing the semi-ashi, right, like or putting the pressure forward, that they end up in a position like this. I noticed in the few videos I watched this week and so on, that not necessarily they always come back to this position, right? Always when we're taught, and our basics is that we want to go from this position and we go back to this position, right? But Shia is a little bit different. So in Shia, they're taking a different approach, and because they have to be so attentive of the person in front of them, sometimes coming back to this is not necessarily possible. So even sometimes, because they're always good competitors, I think, are anchored in the left leg, always, even if the right foot might not move and they're trying to bring the left foot forward, they kind of do like a shorter one, right? Just to anchor themselves immediately so they can go. Because, and I think, again, this is just theory, we're analyzing this, is that we are vulnerable for an attack when we're bringing the foot here, right? Obviously, I'm doing like slow motion, so I'm doing it wrong because I'm pulling myself with the right foot, where ideally I want to push with my left foot, right? So, but even if I'm pushing myself with the left foot, I am, for this amount of time, more vulnerable than when I am at this spot. Because here I can go forward, back, and sideways at any time, right? But when I'm in the middle of this, it kind of becomes, I think the only place to go is back, or kind of like just jumping down or something, but that's not necessarily something that we want to do. So what do you guys think about that? Is this something that you have noticed before, analyzed before? Because lately I've been analyzing and working a lot on that use of the left foot because I think it's so important. So have you noticed that, like that engagement? How do you do it? Yeah, let me know those things because I think that's very interesting. That's very important. Anyways, we go. But look, okay, he's going forward. He's putting pressure with the right foot, and look at the left foot. The left foot not necessarily makes it all the way up to where he barely moves, just because I guess he's seen the opportunity, right? Let's look at the regular kamae first. So okay, we kind of missed the regular kamae, but let's say the regular kamae is a little bit shorter than this one, right? So he stretches himself forward because he's putting pressure. Now he's gonna move forward, but I guess he sees the opportunity, so he re-anchors and pushes immediately for that kote, right? Like for example, like right, I'm gonna tell you this. Right after this step, look what happens right after this step. I think most of his weight is going to be in the right leg, and the left leg is going to be completely disengaged, right? Right there. So at this point, I think he can only go backwards unless he anchors his left foot. So what he does, he kind of goes back. Obviously, the distance that he had allowed him to do that, and because he wanted to be safer, he kind of stepped back a little bit more, anchoring himself. But ideally, you want to have the left leg in order to create power, and look at that. Look how I hope this is slow motion for this one, because this one had a very interesting, okay, yes there is. Look at the little step from the left leg, right? It almost looked as he was just doing a waza, like a kote or a man on that stepping, and then pushed again for doing the actual waza. If you have any drills or any specific things to help develop this that you do at your dojo, that you do with your students, or that you do yourself, please let me know. Please, maybe you can send to me privately or whatever, and because I would like to know more. I would like to learn more about this. But anyways, this one has a little bit less resolution. It's a little bit older video, but now this one's are Miyazaki's kote. So we're gonna go through them and watch a little bit of the difference in some of the things that are done. Kind of like a little bit of a different era, right, for Kendo. Yeah, this is not really necessarily a really good angle, but we'll watch it. I have slow motion. Okay, against Jordan. Look at the left foot. Regardless, he is anchoring himself with the left foot. It's so important, so important. This camera angle is kind of bad, but that's a great technique too. I really like that technique too, kind of like a kaeshi kote, like men kaeshi kote. I think it's a very cool waza to execute and to practice. Oh wow! So in this one, listen, I personally don't necessarily like that one specifically. I'm gonna tell you why, but hold on, let me. Oh, it's good that I can't hear the music. Please tell me if it's too loud though. I hope it's not, but please tell me if it's too loud. I think I know what you're talking about, because a lot of times, you know what, like they have like those 80s style like metal guitar. Okay, hold on. I want us to watch that other one first. Well, I'll make this one quicker if the music is that bad. How about that? Okay, so I don't necessarily like this one specifically. Granted, it works, and it's something like, you know, like kind of like emergency situation type of thing. He got that ippon, and although I don't like it, I'm not saying it's bad, but I kind of try to avoid being put in that situation where the person is kind of like overwhelming the kenshi, and in this case Miyazaki. I'm gonna try to go slow. And as he does that, he kind of hits in the spot, but I think it's very risky. And he kind of hits, putting the left foot back. I'm not saying it's a bad waza, right? Like it's bad at all, but it's just something that I think is very risky. Here, I think it was just a great forward reaction. Great forward reaction and pressure towards the opponent. Look at that. Bam. Like as soon as he started moving, got him with that degote. Degote. Oh. Okay, and this is the important why we should practice always Rensoku waza, right? We want one more waza, because you never know when you have that opportunity to get it. What is up with this camera angles, man? Like, I think Miyazaki is really good at that kote though. Like you see, okay, in this one it was more like a kaeshi kote, right? Like he received a waza and then went around to hit the kote. Let's see, we have a slow motion on it. Yes, we do. He did hit it and then he went backwards kind of to make the sanshin, like to make the distance and then come out with good sanshin. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. That was crazy. Okay, so and again, a lot of the kotes that Uchimura was engaging kind of fell into the category of the red Kenshi on this one, where he was trying to fake and then going for the waza. But now Miyazaki kind of had like a good counter to that style, because if you notice, red kind of came in, he did like kind of a fake, and Miyazaki kind of took that opportunity to kind of like guard himself but immediately attack, which kind of goes to say that the best defense is an attack, right? Instead of just kind of like what was happening, he kind of already had an attack ready to go. For what we're seeing, Miyazaki likes to do kaeshi kote, right? Look at that. He's ready to receive and give it back and take it back. Oh, and let's see. I hope that there's a slow motion on that one. Look at the way he moves the shinai around the opponent's sword, right? He realized that he defended, like he kind of guarded too much. He had an opening and he took it. Immediately. So you need to be engaged with the left foot, huh? See this one? Okay, this one's very interesting because we're coming into, I guess, harai kote, right? He had distance. Okay, look at the distance. Like they're like definitely at a comfortable isokuito. He's feeling the pressure of the shinai, the opponent's shinai. He in one motion. Here is where we shouldn't put that pause. Here the pause comes before we start executing the technique. Then he comes in forward with that harai kote. Very, very basic harai kote actually, I think. Okay, this is very dangerous, right? Like being so close and so close distance, kind of like dancing so much like that. Look at how close they are. Now, if you notice on Miyazaki's style of kote, right, it's a little bit different than Uchimura. In here, he's getting a lot more reach than Uchimura was getting, right? Look at that. Look at the extension of the hands, right? Like full extension. The shinai kind of almost goes parallel to the floor, and he's getting that big reach. But after that, let me just go back to that one specifically. After that, he does close the distance very effectively. Look at that. Let's watch it. Let's watch it before they get the ippon. He gets the distance and then he gets out. And turns immediately to pay attention to the opponent. Oh, let's see. See, even though they're kind of close. Okay, so you see in this one, they're way closer, so he has to adapt the hands, right? He doesn't have that reach. So it's very important that we practice both. We practice the ability to hit far and to hit closer. Look at the engagement of the left leg. As soon as he puts that left leg down, he's ready to go. So he puts that pressure back into the opponent, and then he gets that waza. Oh, again, very important. From White, he didn't commit. He didn't like he kind of did a kote, but he stopped. Miyazaki was able to adjust his distance with the kaeshi, not just the distance, adjust to the attack, and then immediately respond with another one and get back. When you have this type of opponent, I think that you need to be very careful into each attack you do, because you have to be very committed. If you don't, then I think that type of response happens, right? Where the person kind of responds with another waza, and it's very difficult not get hit on after you went forward like that. That was very nice kote with a good extension. I really like those kotes. For some reason, that's one of the things I like to do with kote. I think it's amazing when you can actually change the angle and be close. But for me, aesthetically, I think that the reached out kote looks very cool. But again, if you're gonna do that reached out kote, you gotta make sure that you're committed with it, because if you don't get the hit, you're very open for another hit from your opponent. Sorry, I went too back. Okay, for a little bit. You see that right here. I think the cause of the kote was the hesitation after that semi, right? He kind of went in aimlessly, and kind of had hesitation, and Miyazaki was able to take that ippon. Okay, so that was the last kote. I know you guys. Well, at least Jan, you didn't like the music, so we're moving forward from that. That was a quick one. Now, this last one that I had prepared for you guys today is from Nishimura, right? So it's a little bit more contemporary. Um, I kind of wanted to just give a little bit of perspective in kendo in different stages from different people for one specific technique. I think that I don't know. I find it interesting. I would hope that you guys find it interesting as well. Um, Now, I think Nishimura it's getting a lot of what's the word? I'm not gonna say publicity, but like he has one kote I think that's very unique to him, and that's why I kind of wanted to show it. And this one, I think I skipped through this video a little bit, and I think I saw him do that maybe like 2 or 3 times, and it's something that a lot of people right now I feel they're trying to replicate. And what it is that it's a kote that it's explosive, is fast, um, it almost looks effortless, and it's very pretty because it's very straightforward. So, but at the same time, it's also very powerful, and a big part of it, I think, is because his body type and just the way that he approaches semen. And although it might look like it comes from a very far distance, I think the decisiveness or the decision to do the kote comes from a little bit of a closer distance. So let's watch this one. Now, I couldn't find just a kote compilation, so we're gonna see a couple of different techniques along the way from Nishimura. This is a Nishimura Ippon compilation. And again, what I'm saying, the whole thing with Nishimura about that coming in from like far away and his body type, I think you can also see it on the way that he does men, right? Look at this man, like he's coming in from already. Okay, hold on. He's coming in, he's pushing in and doing almost like he's going to do a second step, but it's not a real second step. He just goes in and pushes forward, which in a normal situation I think might be a little bit of a stretch for some people. If this one has a, but because he makes it so fluid from far away, right? Look, it kind of looks like the man is coming from from the moon, right? Like look, like technically the engagement for the man or the semis for the man started from over here because he's making it one fluid motion. I hope we don't have a look of his feet on this one, but I mean you can really see like how dependent of the left leg he is and how strong he is with that left leg in order to execute this waza. Okay, that was a kote, right? I think. Uh, it's a little bit of an unorthodox kote. Nice Ikiman. Very nice Ikiman. I really like and I really enjoy when a Kenshi can do that type of motion effortlessly and fluidly. Look at that motion and think that this is something that everybody should take the time to practice and understand, and it's how to get the sword around uh, fluidly. Look at that. I think that's a great skill to practice. I think a lot of us seen it, but I don't think many of us take the time to actually try to replicate it. And I think that's something that's very useful because a lot of times people feel confident just having you there with the shinai kind of like on the shoulder or whatever, and you have that ability. I think it's a whole game changer against a lot of opponents. Okay, so now we're starting to get into that kote realm. Um, at this point, he is getting the leg ready to go forward. He's anchored, but he's starting to push. Now, he makes a decision so close, but at the right time, right? And look at the position of the hands. Like he is keeping the center and moving the tip around, and all of it becomes the effort of the left leg to push him forward. Oh, my computer skipped frames at that moment. Let's watch in slow motion. He comes with a fake, engaged in the left foot. Again, a great counter for this type is kind of what we saw in Miyazaki. Is like be ready for a counter instead of just keep pulling back. I think if you keep pulling back, you fall prey of the pressure and the intensity of the person coming forward. See, because he comes here with a fake, and then he comes for the real kote. Fake, engage with left foot, kote. In this one, I think he got that kote out of the confidence of white, because he kind of closed the distance. He made it feel comfortable closing in the distance, and once he closed the distance, he caught him mid-step. Look at that. He caught him mid-step, and he came in forward with such good pressure. It's amazing. Now, yeah, maybe it wasn't the prettiest kote because he hit the fist first, but you know, obviously when you see it from the side, it looks very impressive. Switch to slow motion here. Okay, now we get into that point where I think that this is where Nishimura shines with his kote, like that reach of the kote and the explosiveness and how sharp and quick that kote can be. Let's see if we can have one where they're in a good angle and we can see the motion, the full motion. Okay, and this one he's trying to get the person to raise the hands, and as soon as he goes down back down for that type of motion. Oh, that's a great reaction, right? Even though, you know, like, it's not a thing that we want to do, you know, often, right? But that was a great reaction. His shinai was down. He couldn't really bring his shinai up, and importantly, instead of fighting off to bring the shinai up, instead of like concerning himself to bring the shinai up, he kept his focus with the opponent. He seen that man coming this way, and like, whoop, he pulled a, you know, like he just like whack-a-mole, right? Like he was like, oh, he just kind of like got out of the way. He came with that intention forward for the kote. Okay, I think this is one of the kotes that I wanted to show off. That, okay, no, not here, not this one. This one's more like Uchimura's kote, right? Like he kind of like used a little bit of the same things that we were seeing before. Not quite the same angle though. I think Uchimura's execution of that motion was a little bit sharper, a little bit better when it comes to that. Well, let's see this one. Oh my god, why is my computer jumping frames like right? Okay, so I think this is looking more like what a lot of people are liking from Nishimura's kote, right? So let's see why is this so good, and why is this so important. So, and please, if you have a different opinion from mine, or if you noticed something that I don't, please leave it in the comments below. Now, he is definitely anchoring himself with the left leg and pushing sharply towards the opponent, right? Although he has, you know, like a very straightforward posture, he's not really going that far. I mean, although like he seems like he's doing a big stretch right now, right? I don't think he's going that far. Jan, you said that you're not jumping frames. I don't know if you'll be jumping frames for that specifically, because I think like the reproduction for me for the video, it jump frames, like sometimes jumping frames, like especially at those coated points. But I think you get a different feed from what I'm seeing. So maybe, yeah, for you may not have, because it's not necessarily lag. It's just like that frame jumped. Maybe the processing speed of my computer didn't catch up at that moment. But okay, so here, you know, he's getting to that point where, like, you know, he brought his left foot a little bit back instead of concerning himself to bring the left foot forward, which is gonna put him closer. I think that he did that in order to keep the distance he had where he feels comfortable. He stretched forward as he pushes with the left leg. At the same time, right? Now, the left foot, if you notice where it started and where it ended, is not that much farther from where it started. But look at the left foot. The left foot, it's engaged, it's pushing, it's kind of giving that force to the body to kind of drive into the shinai, and then allows him to get out of the way sharply. I think in my opinion, he didn't really need to go out so much in that angle, into that side angle that he went out. But I'm not criticizing it. Obviously, it's fine. But I think maybe for security reasons, he could have gone straighter, closing the distance in a little bit more straight away. But look at that. He keeps the distance by bringing the left foot back, making up for the fact that Uchimura is coming close to him, right? He is in a very short position. He's being very compact on how low he's bringing the sword under the shinai. When he goes up, he gets a healthy amount of swing up in order to get a very nice and good impact. And I think that at this point, when he made it to this point, I don't think there's really too much that Uchimura could have done here. Maybe Suriage, but that Suriage is very risky. I think it would have been still Nishimura would have had the chance to adjust the angle if he started doing Suriage. But obviously he didn't. He actually went the opposite way, and he got hit with the kote in that specific angle. This is the same one, right? There's different angles. Oh no, maybe it's not. This is the first one that he did, kind of like the same way that Uchimura was doing before. Uh, oh, this is another fight. This is another fight. Okay, so in here, look at. Okay, so it kind of looks like he's doing a kote from very far away, right? Because he is putting pressure from a very far distance, like from Toma, even away from being touching the shinai. It's coming with pressure. He anchors himself to start doing that step forward, and I think he's gonna do that fake step and then stepping forward, right? Maybe not. Like he just went straight forward into that kote. Let's. Oh, hold on. I went back too far. He's coming with decision. He's coming forward, and I think what makes it really good for Uchimura, what I think he has really perfected in this sense, it's the amount of downswing that he's doing. He's being very compact. He's not getting away from the center. He's not getting away from the kote, right? He's staying. He goes right, almost like he doesn't even go down. He almost just goes down a little bit, but because the person is coming with the shinai up, it's not so much of a downswing too much. Just a little bit to go down, going into like a little bit of like semicircle, and then look how much upswing he has over Uchimura. And I think, and I think this is like a study that maybe I'll break down at some other point, and we can talk about the angles of the sword. But at this point, obviously, Uchimura is not necessarily in a position where he can downswing as effectively as Nishimura can, right? The right arm for Nishimura is in the right position to do that lever action on the shinai to bring the cut down, where Uchimura, I think because of how he has the elbow and he has the sword at this point, it's not necessarily in a winning position to do that swing. And if you see like the angle for Uchimura, it's a little bit more straighter this way right now, and Nishimura is kind of a little bit already not only engaged in this way, but it's already in the process of bringing the sword down. Not doing this with the bicep of bringing the sword up, but he's keeping the right hand in a position where he aligned it with the kote, and now it's only the work of the left hand to just finish that off, right? Bam. And then he comes in forward. It's surprising Uchimura was going for that Kaishido. Look at that. So it's very interesting how, like that decision. I wonder, that's one of the moments where I wonder, did he have that in mind to do before he went in forward, or what was it? Because that's very, very interesting choice. on what he went. I don't, even though, I mean, even though he did hit it, right? Like, look at that, he hits the do. And I know we're not analyzing do right now, but I think that's also very interesting because, he's definitely engaged on that. Uh, but he was able to just, Uchimura was, no, Nishimura was able to hit that kote in such a precise motion. And that's something that, back before this whole thing started, where I could go to the dojo even by myself, using the dummy. That's something that I practice a lot because a couple of things to keep in mind if you want to try to replicate it, if you want to try to put that in your repertoire, it's that first thing, there cannot be tension. I think for kote, there cannot be tension on your arms. You have to have your arms relaxed, and when you're doing the swing, to get over the person's shinai, I think a lot of people make the mistake of pulling with the right hand, where, maybe if you're doing some of the ones that we've seen with katsugi, but even if you're doing katsugi, you're still using the left arm to get the sword up, right? Like, it's a combination of both. So I think the biggest mistake that people make is that either where they're going down or they're going up, they use their right arm to do that. Where if we break down that Nishimura motion, right? It's a little bit of like the hand, the right arm is kind of gets into position as he goes, but the left arm is the one kind of bringing the sword down and bringing the sword up. So he comes in with that motion, right? So let's watch that one more time because I thought that's pretty cool. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. We'll see. But look at that. Look at that kote. Okay, look at what's happening with the left hand and the right arm. The left and the right arm. The right arm is not pushing down. The left arm, it's ever so slightly pulling the sword down, then pushing it up, then pulling it back down. And the right arm, it's guiding the sword into its final target. Just please take a look at the hands. And this may be something that I can make a specific video, Nishimura's kote. How does he do it? So obviously it all starts with the feet, but we're looking at the hands. The right arm, it's still almost like in kamae, right? We see it go down a little bit, obviously, because the sword is going down, but the motion is being executed by the left arm. The precision that he has to bring the sword down and bring it back up. Look, he's pushing, he's not bending, he's not pulling the sword up by bending the bicep, right? He's keeping the arm in that way, meaning that the left arm is the one doing the work right now. And as he does that, he gets the right arm to be in the right position and finishes it off with the tenouchi from the left and right arm. And he gets out of the way. How did he not get hit in that elbow? That's just amazing. I don't know if Uchimura was so good that he missed that elbow and hit the do, or Nishimura was so good that he saw that do coming and said like, nope, you're not getting this either. So regardless, I think those are very interesting points to break down, to study. Again, I'm a firm believer that right now, while we cannot go back to the dojo, we can still do some things for our kendo to make it better. So I think studying kendo is one of those things that we can do, and watching other people's kendo, it's also a great thing. What I want to start doing too, is also analyzing some practices themselves instead of just shiai or necessarily tests, right? I haven't really done much of the test. And I know, Jan, you will tell me that I need to do more of that because I need to get ready for my golden test, right? But this is something that I think we should break down and analyze, and seeing how we can incorporate those things to our kendo. One of the best advice I think I've gotten in my kendo life has been learn to steal, and meaning not necessarily go rob a bank, right? But yeah, I think that'll be interesting, right? Rob banks so you can do more kendo, but no, meaning take the techniques that you see from people and make them your own. Try to analyze how can you make that your own. Tobias. Okay, Tobias. Thank you for reminding me your name. Uh, Thank you for being here. Yeah, we're wrapping up, so thank you very much for everybody being here. But again, please, if you have any suggestion, any question, anything you would like me to do, or anything you would like to see, please let me know. I really appreciate everybody's comment, everybody's participation. This is keeping me motivated to actually study and get better on my Kendo. So hopefully when I get back to the dojo, I'll have a lot of stuff that I would like to try out and to incorporate and make them my own effortlessly. But this is some of the things that I think that is going to help us grow and get better in our Kendo. Try to pick up some of the things that you would like to add for your Kendo and start analyzing some of the things that you can do to break them down and start doing them. If you have any questions, if there's anything I can do for you to help you out, or if you have any suggestions for me, please let me know. I'm doing these streams every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'm trying to make it to 1,000. And right now I'm gonna put on pause the Suburi streams that I've been doing on Wednesdays, because I wanna try to focus on making more videos. I think that'll be more useful for people at this point. While I get some other stuff ready. So I really appreciate everybody coming in by. I hope you enjoy my videos and you enjoy my streams. If you have any ideas, suggestions, please let me know. Again, thank you very much everybody for passing by, and I'll be here next Sunday. So take care. You guys have a good rest of your weekend.